Prime Minister Dr. the Honourable Timothy Harris says his government welcomes continued dialogue with members of the private sector on matters pertaining to COVID-19 and the local economy, particularly as his administration has long adopted an all-of-society approach to addressing the global pandemic and its impact on the Federation. Prime Minister Harris made this remark during a meeting with government officials and the executive of the St. Kitts and Nevis Chamber of Industry and Commerce today, Wednesday, August 5th, at the Ministry of Finance conference room.
COVID-19 is at heart and still is a health pandemic. Nothing has changed with regard to that. It started that way and it remains that way, except that it has now morphed into another crisis of an economic nature. And so we are attempting really to meander the delicate pathways of a health crisis and a global economic crisis. We don't think we have all the answers. We don't even know that we have all the questions. And so we welcome these kinds of dialogue in a sincere effort at partnership and a constructive way for nation building.
Prime Minister Harris was supported in the meeting by Deputy Prime Minister Honourable Sean Richards, Minister of Tourism Honourable Lindsay Grant, and Attorney General Honourable Vincent Byron Jr. During the meeting, the government updated the chamber officials on what is happening at the Ministerial and National Emergency Operations Center (NEOC) levels as it relates to protecting citizens and residents from the coronavirus, as well as moving closer to the eventual reopening of the Federation's borders to international and regional visitors. The Prime Minister stated that his cabinet is on board for the opening of the country, but insists that his government will arrive at that point in a carefully managed way, taking into consideration all necessary guidelines and protocols.
We want to open as soon as it's practically reasonable to do so. And what we have said is that we will want all the critical stakeholders to begin the process of reorganizing their approach to business, their plans, their business places, their human resource training, so that they can be ready for the opening up.
President of the Chamber of Industry and Commerce, Giselle Matthews, described the dialogue as productive.
We leave here today with a lot of information. We thank you again for hosting us at such short notice and providing us with invaluable information and knowing that there is a whole host of planning and strategizing that's going on behind the scenes that we are very pleased to hear, and we are not in any way asking that we reopen an economy responsibly, or even to a market like the US that is so risky, but that we have a plan and we have some sort of reinvention in our minds as to how we do this when we do it.
Chief Medical Officer Dr. Hazel Laws, Medical Chief of Staff of the Joseph and France General Hospital, Dr. Cameron Wilkinson, and Chair of the National Emergency Operations Center, Abdias Samuel, were all present to give updated statistics on the local and global COVID-19 situations.